We're just going to kind of run through as Mary finishes. Chris Renoff is going to come up. Chris Renoff is from Sarasota County School District in Florida, and Chris has been a partner in this process from day one. And he is a principal who just took it on as a principal in his school and really went gangbusters with it. And so I just always go back and manage up and use Chris as an example. And then we'll end with Denny Wilson, who we have worked with for years in many different capacities. He lives in our hometown, and he has such a great story about turning around a high poverty that was considered a low-performing school. And it's just all three of these principals are just absolutely great principals, but most important to me is they're just wonderful people. And so I'd really like, at this point, if you would help me welcome Mary Jo Raczkowski.
Okay, is this too loud because I talk loud? Okay, all right, good. Because I feel bad for you already. Hopefully everybody's awake out there. Now we'll get going here. Make sure everybody's up and around. I know it's tough after lunch to stay awake, but we'll try to make it quick. I talk really fast. I only have 35 pages of notes. I write big and talk fast. So, okay. As you can see, I'm the principal of Hunt School. Love my school. I love my kids. We are one of I'm one of 8 elementary schools in Jackson Public. All of us have a theme or a magnet at our school. Our theme is the balanced schedule. For those of you who do not know what a balanced schedule is, it is kind of like year-round education, but not necessarily. We're not 45-15. It's just we do not go to school more than 30 days without a break. So we get the last week of June, all of July, and the first week of August off. 6 weeks, and that's we have to get special permission from the state superintendent in order to be a balanced schedule, because in Michigan we have a law that you have to start after Labor Day. So in order for us to start that second week of August, we have to get special permission each year, and we are in our second year doing that. After, what we do is we take those 6 weeks, and then we go for 3 weeks, and then we get the week before Labor Day off, and then we take the other 6 weeks throughout the school year. For example, like Thanksgiving, we get the whole week off, President's whole week, 2.5 weeks at Christmas, 2 weeks spring break. So we absolutely, it's the greatest thing we've ever done. Trust me. The rest of the district, you know, at first like, oh, year round, why'd you pick that? And I'm like, yeah, you'll see. And now they're all going, oh, Dan, can we have year round? No, there you go. So I'm trying to take it from me. So we collected data our first year. We compared our first 100 days of 2010-11 to last year 11-12. What we found was, in that first 100 days, we had 86 less discipline referrals, 68 less teacher absences, and 1,260 less student absences because of those breaks. So it was absolutely awesome to do that. So now, into our second year of the balanced schedule, we compared our first 8 weeks of school. Last year's first 8 weeks, our first year of balanced schedule, and this. What we found was our student count went up. We have 60 less student discipline referrals, 4 less teacher absences, and 76 less student absences. So it has been very successful. On top of all of that, we have gone up in 7 out of 11 of our state testing scores on subject areas. So it's been very, it's been wonderful. Our parents and staff absolutely love it. And on the student survey that we do under the parent area, the parent comment section, the #1 comment is what is working well at your child's school is the balanced schedule. And we would not have had that information had we not had the student survey. So that was good to know. Under the employee engagement survey, they said what is the #1 thing working well in your district, and it was, again, the balanced schedule. So thank you to Studer that we were able to get that data. For the first time ever in Jackson Public, let me go back a second here, you are allowed to bid into any building you want based on seniority. There's an opening in the 3rd grade across town, you don't like the principal, which happens to me often. That, you know, you can go across town to another principal you think you're going to get along with, or whatever it might be, or the clientele, so that they can move. And this is the first time ever that we did not have one staff member bid out this year. and not a teacher, parapro, teacher assistant, secretary. Everybody stayed at Hunt School. We have a staff about over 50, so that was pretty exciting for us. So we, and it's not just a balanced schedule, but it's also because of Studer, we now have a positive atmosphere at Hunt School, and because of the Studer process, that is why people are staying at Hunt. Now on my notes I put, here should be like a woo-hoo, but since earlier today you guys kept saying, give me an amen, I expect something like that at this time. That never happens in Jackson Public. The technology department loves me, because whenever a teacher moves, that means you have to change their phone number, you have to change the computers over. You know that they're like, you are our favorite. I said, yes, I am. So under our next slide here, that's not a very good picture of my school. We usually have the leaves gone, but and went over through all that stuff, so we can just keep moving on. Our employee engagement survey, so you can see our first year from 2010, December 2011, about the same, 23, 21. Scores went up a little bit, and then you can see my big jump, May 2012. We went up quite a bit. We had less staff taking the survey, and we had more people. We have less staff in our building, and had more staff taking the survey, so that was quite exciting for us. I want a woo-hoo or amen on that one too, thank you. All right, so you want to know how we did it? Here we go. I need to take you back to my student introduction a couple years back. It began, my first impression, it began when we had to go to a mandatory meeting at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Who makes their principals go to a mandatory meeting at 5 o'clock in the afternoon besides Dan Evans? Okay, so I'm already in a good mood. Did I mention it was a half day of school that day? Yeah, and then, that's when principals can sneak out when you need to, because, hey, you're going to get home on time that day. All right, so on top of that, did I mention it was President's Weekend and we get Monday off? Yeah, so we had the long weekend, so you're like, oh yeah, wow, I can hardly wait to go to this meeting. I was in a great mood. And so here we go, and we were going to go to this meeting, the group coming in called Studer. You know what Studer meant, who it was, didn't care at that point, so I was going to hate him. So it was customer service, and they were going to tell us how we could be better people and how we were going to be evaluated by parents. I'm like, uh-oh. Staff, I'm like, oh God, I'm going to die here. And that these surveys had a comment area, and on top of it all, it was anonymous. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Anonymous? Like, I can't even hate on the person that's hating on me. So this whole concept was kind of killing me here. And my mom always told me, Rachel, your worst problem is you can read everything on your face. You don't like something, we know. And I'm going to see now my fault that Janet and Robin caught me rolling my eyes. I didn't find this out until about 2 weeks ago when they were up in, they were in Michigan last week, and I'm like, okay, for my presentation, would you be offended if I said something? They go, oh, you mean the marriage that rolled around? All that? So I felt really good about that. So all I can think of going through this, like, oh, this is going to get ugly. I'm like, I'm just not going to like this. So, in a nutshell, number one thing on there, I hated it. Nonetheless, we the administrative team throughout the rest of that year, and this summer, we had to go to meetings to become Studerized. Anyway, and in August, we had to do a rollout to our staff. Well, you know how much I liked it. So we were given this packet, and you have to present it. No, you have to read it verbatim. Don't go off. And I'm like, all right. And so I always do what I'm told. I read it. I rolled my eyes as I read it. I read it verbatim, and I kept rolling my eyes. I informed my staff that every month they got to meet with me. In my very sarcastic tone, I explained to them that we would be doing rounding. And I said, we'd meet, I'd find out what's working well, who should be recognized, what tools do you need to make your job better? And pretty soon they're all rolling their eyes. And how can I help you? And their opinion? Thanks to the principal, they hated it too. So we're all on the same boat. So now, you want to know how did rounding go? Awful. It was the worst. We hated it. Absolutely hated it. It was like, oh, take on my gun, it's rounding time. That's why you sound on the announcement, it's rounding time. So we thought, as a staff, we were absolutely positive that if we were negative, that this process and these ladies would go away. And no, we couldn't shake them.
That is the truth.
That's true. I couldn't shake these women. Everything. Because our school district is notorious for starting something. Lucy Calkins writing. Yeah, I can just do it a couple times, you know they're going to get rid of it. Yeah. And that's what happens when I just do stuff, it's going. It would go. And it just kept coming back. Month after month, and we're like, are you kidding me? And it finally came clear to us, one day they had a small group of us, of the administrators. It was just elementary, and it was the facilities directors and the special ed directors at that time. And Janet and Robin were presenting to us in our small group. And they asked us to take a few minutes and write down what's your what. I'm like, what? Maybe we should start paying attention more. They're coming back.